This conference will now be recorded.
TimeTrack has an automated feature that allows you to automatically schedule the four pieces of a teacher evaluation process on your TimeTrack. A lot of people have learned that you can also modify it so you can use it to make sure that you're getting into classrooms to see a teacher teach and also having frequent conversations about the teacher's work. To do this, you simply go to the TimeTrack logo on the upper left-hand side, click Connected Events, and then go over to Schedule Formal Evaluation. You can pick a group of people that you plan to go in and see them in their classrooms, and for this TimeTrack, I'm going to go ahead and pick this particular group of 8 teachers. Now, I could have picked individual teachers, but I went ahead and picked just a group. And then I tell TimeTrack when I want to do this work, and I want it to start on the 26th of August. And I want to have it finished by, let's say, the third week in September, the 25th. Excuse me, let's do September instead of October there. So we have a shorter amount of time. And then I click Next. I can now change this, so instead it's the 4 parts of being the formal evaluation, I can drop the pre-conference. I can make the first observation instead of a formal observation. I can pick one of the other 3 kinds of seeing instruction: a walkthrough, a work with students time. When I do an informal visit, I work with students while I watch the teacher teach, or student supervision, where I go in an informal visit and I help students pay attention while I watch the teacher teach. And so this first one, I think I'll do a work with students. So I'll come down and pick that particular descriptor. And instead of 60 minutes that I might do in a formal evaluation, why don't I do 20 minutes? And maybe I'll do a second observation too, a time to see the teacher teach. And this time I'll do a walkthrough. And I can do maybe 10 minutes here. And then I tell TimeTrack I really don't need a time to prep on this, but I would like a time to have a conversation with the teacher after I've done those 2 times of seeing instruction, a work with students and a walkthrough. But instead of directive feedback, I think I'm going to pick non-directive feedback to start out. If I click over here to say that it's tentative, it will remind me that a person hasn't looked at where these items were placed once they're on my TimeTrack. And that will just remind me I should look to make sure it's at a time I want to go see the teacher teach and the teacher's actually teaching. I click Next, and now I can say how many days I want between the first observation and the second, and how many days I want between the second observation and the post-conference, in this case, the feedback session. I can tell TimeTrack that I want these times I go in to see a teacher teach at a particular time. And so I'll say any time after 8 in the morning and any time before school gets out at 3 o'clock. And then I click Next. I now tell TimeTrack, please put this on my TimeTrack. See if you can find a place that you can put all these events on my TimeTrack. And sure enough, TimeTrack put 24 events on my calendar. Now here's what it looks like. I now can see that I have observations set. I can see the one here on Friday, August 30th. If I open this up, I can see that it's been scheduled for me to do a work with students activity with this particular teacher. I can see that it's already associated with this teacher. And if I scroll down, I can see when the next observation is scheduled, and then when the time I'll have a post-conference or a time to have some feedback with that teacher. This can be really helpful for me because it can make me make sure I get in and see people on a frequent basis. Now, if I'd like to see all of my events that have been scheduled, I can come up to the TimeTrack logo, click. I can go to Connected Events, and this time I can click Scheduled Events. It will now show me, if I click Future, all of the events I have scheduled for these seeing instruction, a time to go in and see the teacher teach, and then an opportunity for me to have a conversation with the teacher afterwards. Now, if I decided I didn't want to do these things, I tried connected events, and I wanted to take them off my calendar and try again, I would go ahead and click Allow Deletion of Confirmed Events, and then I would click Delete All. Before we do that, though, let's go back and look at our calendar. You see how in the upper right-hand corner of the event for observation for Beth Hoyt, I see a little white circle. That is telling me that TimeTrack placed that there, but it really doesn't know if that's a time that's good for me to go in and see Beth. I might realize that Beth has prep at that time, so I might want to change it to a different time. To change it, what I would do is I go to the left-hand side of the event where it's shaded, get the crossbar, I would click, and I would then drag it over to another open space when I know Beth would be available. Once I do that, you'll see that little circle went away because now TimeTrack knows a human looked at this. I also know that this is a connected event because there's a little chain link on the side telling me this is connected to two other events. One, another time to see instruction, and secondly, a time for me to give feedback. Connected events is easy to do. Encourage you to try it, and it's a great way to make sure your frequency of interaction, the amount of time you see people teach, and the feedback that you give is sufficient. Hey, have a great day.